Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Crazy day. We were supposed to have Donald Trump on the Factor, but logistics did not work out. He's running around all over the place. Trump campaign says he will be with us tomorrow. So instead of a live interview tonight, we have put together a highlight reel of my interviews with Trump, which I think you'll find illuminating, and then we'll talk with him tomorrow for an extended period of time. Also, today, there's a new Fox News poll out on the race, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. With just 13 days left until the nation votes for president, the FNC poll says this. Hillary Clinton leads Donald Trump 44 to 41, a tighter race than the last FNC poll, which had it 45-39. Johnson and Stein combined get 10%. What about the level of strong support? Clinton 61, Trump 68. That's a big plus for the Republican. Blacks are supporting Clinton 82% to just 5% for Trump. But where are the other 13% of the black voters? A disaster, that is, if African Americans turn out big numbers, especially in states like Pennsylvania, which Trump needs. Whites going for Trump 50 to 36 for Clinton, which is a good sign for Trump in places like Iowa and Nevada. Women back Clinton over Trump 48-38, but it's the opposite with men. They support Trump 44-39 over Clinton. So you can see it's a polarized country. Fox poll is somewhat surprising because it shows the race much closer than some in the media believe. Also, Hillary Clinton has not been campaigning all that much, so this might be a wake-up call for her. Mitt Romney thought he had the race won 4 years ago, and look what happened to him. Trump's better showing is because more independent voters are backing him now. The Fox poll has it 41 for Trump, just 28 for Clinton. She's down 7 points with independents in 2 weeks, a very significant fall. Finally, the poll asked whether voters had a favorable opinion of the candidates. Trump clocked in 42% favorable, 56% unfavorable. Clinton 45% favorable, 53% unfavorable. Talking Points will say it again. Whoever wins on November 8th will be the most unfavorable president-elect in history. Two new state polls showed up today. In Florida, Bloomberg has Trump up by 2, a statistical tie. In New Hampshire, Hillary Clinton's lead has been cut by 5 points in the latest Monmouth poll. She now leads Trump by 4 points in the Live Free or Die state. But before all you Trump supporters get too happy, a new USA Today poll, also out today, has Clinton beating Trump by about 10 points in a 4-way race. We checked the methodology on that poll, and it's similar to the Fox poll. So there is some confusion afoot. The Gannett Company, which owns USA Today, is generally very anti-Trump, but Talking Points does not believe the poll is skewed to favor Hillary Clinton. What all this tells us is that Americans are not very happy with either candidate, and that comes through with the trust numbers. In the Fox survey, 67% of likely voters do not trust Hillary Clinton, 62% do not trust Donald Trump. The fact that Trump is still competing hard and within striking distance, if you believe the FNC poll, is kind of amazing. Man has been battered by the media, including some commentators right here on Fox News. Some of that is Trump's own fault, as his past behavior has hurt him, and his penchant for airing personal grievances has cost him votes. But Hillary Clinton simply cannot put him away, no matter what Trump does. And that's because the country's in trouble. And Secretary Clinton refuses to acknowledge that. Even though the polling on disenchantment is clear, 2/3 of Americans are not happy with the direction of America. In order to secure his support, Hillary Clinton has chosen to uphold the policies of President Obama. That is tough territory, with Obamacare tottering now and economic growth at 1%, anemic to say the least. Trump's also an amazing campaigner, pounding the pavement in the 4 states he needs: Florida, Ohio, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. The guy never sleeps. He just tweets. Talking Points believes that Hillary Clinton is leading in the race and has a big advantage in the Electoral College. But Trump has regained some momentum as voters start to seriously consider things like blatant media bias, a botched FBI investigation on the email front, and a swamp in Washington that definitely needs to be drained. So the election's not a slam dunk, and Mrs. Clinton should understand that. Her support can erode fast if more WikiLeaks stuff comes out. As for Trump, nobody on this planet can predict what he will say or do. But one thing is certain: if he goes down, He's going down fighting. And that's a memo. Next on the rundown, reaction to the new polling. Then Donald Trump and I slug it out. Some fascinating moments from my previous debates with him. Also, another poll says many Americans are stressed out over the election. Dennis Miller has some advice. All of that upcoming as the Factor continues all across the USA and all around the world. Continue now with our lead story, polling chaos. Is the race getting tighter or is it all over? Joining us from Washington, Kyle Condick from the University of Virginia Center for Politics. And from Cleveland, Caitlin Huey-Burns, national political reporter for Real Clear Politics. You first, Caitlin. Is Trump gaining?
Well, he is gaining some ground. We're seeing in that national poll that you just mentioned and in some battleground states, there is a little bit of tightening. That's good news for people like Senate Republican incumbents who are running for re-election or some congressional candidates who are looking for Donald Trump to close the gap a little bit with Hillary Clinton. But if you look at what the campaign is focused on, they are still trying to coalesce support within the Republican Party and hold on to red states. Places like Arizona are in play right now. North Carolina is another key battleground where Hillary Clinton is leading. Utah is even in play at this point where Mike Pence is campaigning. And so that kind of tells you where the campaign is thinking in terms of what they need to do.
I just want to point out that in the Fox News poll, they did say how many Democrats are going to vote for Hillary Clinton and how many Republicans are going to vote for Donald Trump. It's close. It's in the high 80s for both. There was not a gap in the Fox News poll. So, Mr. Condick, have you seen, based upon the Fox News reportage today, a change?
I think the race is basically about where it's been. I think that Clinton is probably up somewhere around 5 or 6 points if you put all the polls together. You know, there were 3 big national polls that came out today. Fox News was at Clinton +3. The USA Today Suffolk poll you mentioned was Clinton +9, and then there was an Associated Press poll that actually had Clinton up 14. I think the truth is basically somewhere in the middle, and that's where the national polling averages have been for a while. Some of the states Trump's going to do better than he does nationally, probably a state like Florida, which historically is Republican leaning. But we're also getting to the point where we're starting to see early voting. In fact, about more than 10 million people have already voted, and there's a lot of early voting in Florida. And so even if Trump is able to close in the final days, there are already votes that I think are probably accumulating against him.
But we can't speculate on what those votes might be. But here's my problem with the AP poll, which is why I didn't cite it, okay? All the local polling from Monmouth and Bloomberg and people like that, they have the states like New Hampshire and Florida tightening up, okay? But the AP has this blowout. And so I'm looking at it, if it's tightening up in these key states, how can it be a blowout? There's no trend here at all. There isn't any trend. One organization says this, the other organization says that. It'll be fascinating because we will do this the day after the election and tell you which polls blew it and which polls were accurate. Investors Business Daily poll, Caitlin, that has Trump ahead, actually winning. So I think people are confused. Are you confused?
Well, I think you have to really look at the aggregate, as Kyle mentioned, and the Real Clear Politics polling average does have Clinton up about 5.5 percentage points at this point.
But wait, let me say, I know you have them up, but that's skewed out to ABC, and we now know that poll polled far more Democrats than Republicans. And the AP, which looks to me to be an outlier, I could be wrong, and I'll apologize to AP if I am, but your average is skewed by those polls.
Well, it's still a significant margin if you consider all the polls that it does include. It also includes Rasmussen and an LA Times poll that shows Donald Trump ahead.
By just a little, though. If you took AP and ABC out of the Real Clear average, you'd have 3. That's what you have. You'd have 3% difference.
But I think what you need to look at here, too, is that sort of the range of polls right now show basically somewhere between a tie and Clinton up double digits. And again, you know, I think if the race were truly tied, you'd see some polls coming in at Trump +4, Trump +5, and maybe sort of the midpoint would be something of a tie. Okay. I don't think it's actually tied. I think Clinton's probably leading.
And that's what I said in the talking points. I believe that Clinton is ahead. But I was surprised, I have to say, that Clinton, on this new Fox News poll, I thought it was going to be 7 or 8. And it's down to 3. That shows me that Trump has gained momentum. But I don't know if momentum is going to help him if the Electoral College is stacked against him, Mr. Condick, and your crew says it is. It's still stacked against him.
Yeah, and this is why I go back to Florida, because, again, we've got a lot of early voting that's already gone on there. While Bloomberg has Trump up 2, most of the other polls show Clinton up a very small amount, 2, 3, 4 points. And if Trump can't win Florida, I don't see how he could win the election, because Florida's the tied with New York as the 3rd most populous state, 29 electoral votes. You just can't really make that up if you're a Republican.
You can't make it up. So that's why Trump's living down in Florida. Every 2 minutes he's chasing alligators around. He's water skiing. I mean, that's why he's living down there. You have to say. And Ohio's the other one, Caitlin. I got to win Ohio. He's got to win Ohio. He's got to win Florida. He's got to win North Carolina. Those are 3 musts. He can get away with losing Pennsylvania if he picks up the states out west, but he's got to win those 3.
Right, and here in Ohio, he is slightly ahead, and the demographics, of course, here favor Donald Trump, and so it wouldn't be entirely surprising if he won Ohio. Even if he wins Ohio and Florida, he still has a long path to the presidential race.
Everything's got to break his way.
Right, exactly.
Right.
He really has to
well, what's
to
the
clear
thing about Ohio that Ohio has picked every presidential race? Going back to Taft or something?
Ohio hasn't voted for the losers since it supported Nixon over Kennedy in 1960.
All right. Well, I think what we can learn today is race isn't over. Would you all agree with that? It's not over.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Close, but not quite.
Directly ahead, Trump and I go mano a mano. That's Spanish. Then later, Miller on political stress and a new Project Veritas video showing more election sabotage by some far left guys. Those reports after these messages. Campaign 2016 segment tonight, interviewing the candidates. On July 14th, both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton appeared on The Factor by phone, responding to the terror attack in Nice, France, that killed 86 people. At the time, Secretary Clinton said this. Madam Secretary, appreciate your time tonight. Thank you very much for appearing on The Factor. I hope you see you in person soon. Thanks again.
I would look forward to that. Thanks, Bill. Take care.
Well, so far, we have not been able to book Mrs. Clinton, despite the fact that her staff told us an interview would happen, and time is growing short. We hope she will do what she said she would do. On the other hand, Mr. Trump has appeared on The Factor 47 times since he announced his candidacy. Here are some of the highlights. ISIS. How are you going to defeat ISIS?
I would hit them so hard. I would find our proper general. I would find the Patton or the MacArthur. I would hit them so hard your head would spin. Now remember, and I sent you the document, I said in 2004 we should not go in and do that whole thing with Iraq. It was a disaster because I said that Iran will take over and it'll totally destabilize the Middle East. But there's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
Are you telling me you're going to send American ground troops into Syria?
I'm not telling you anything. And the reason I'm not is because if I run and I win, I don't want them to know the game plan.
Okay.
Let me
but
just say something.
If you want to hit them hard,
I'm probably going to have to say I have a way that would be very effective with respect to ISIS.
It's a Muslim registry controversy. What do you want there? What's your vision?
Well, it's very simple. When they come in from Syria, guest of President Obama, we shouldn't be taking any because we have no idea where they come from, who they are. They have no paperwork. There's no way of proving that their paperwork is correct. When they come in from Syria, I want them to be registered because we just don't know who they are. We don't know where they come from. We don't know if they're ISIS, and we don't know if they have evil intentions. So I want them registered.
All right, but they will be if they get papers to come here. ICE, Homeland Security, will know who they are, will know where they go. So what you want is a reality already, is it not?
No, what I want is I don't want them to come here.
The Philadelphia Daily News, a tabloid, puts you on page 1 looking like Hitler. Does that kind of stuff bother you personally?
Certainly I don't like it. I think it's disgraceful that they're allowed to do it. I am a person that is, I'm in the forefront of something that's never, I guess, been done before. I've been called by very, very respected writers saying they've never seen anything like this happen in American politics. It affects my family. They don't like seeing their father or their husband ridiculed. But in the end, they're very smart people. And they say, well, wait a minute, they're after you because you're up by 20 points and you've done something that's never been done before in American politics. And you can tell them to go themselves.
Did you write that yourself?
No, I didn't use the word. I never said the word, Bill. I don't know who told you I would never use the word. I didn't say the word. I said you can tell them to go themselves.
But
I never said the word.
The lips kind of moved in the.
Well, they might have. No, I didn't say
have.
that. I wouldn't do that. Even hey, Bill, even I wouldn't do that.
The strategy that you're going to use against Hillary Clinton is that she's not suitable to be president because she's not honest. That's your strategy, right?
She's not honest. She's not super. I don't even think she's capable. You look at her decisions. I mean, take a look at where she's gone. Every decision she's made practically, she's made so many bad decisions. She would be a disaster as president of our country.
Okay.
Look at Benghazi. She was sleeping when the phone call came in. She did the ad on the phone call at 3 in the morning. She was sleeping. She was sound asleep.
This Khan situation. In hindsight, wouldn't it have been smarter for your campaign just to pretty much ignore him?
Well, you know, I was watching television. I said, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And all of a sudden I was viciously attacked on the stage of the Democratic National Convention by Mr. Khan, and I responded to that vicious attack. I understand that, but, you know, part of it is I read a lot and I watch a lot, and many, many people discussed this. Many, many people, they said it. So when I said it, it became like a big deal, and that's, you know, the way it is.
You tweeted today, "It is so nice that the shackles have been taken off me and I can now fight for America the way I want to." What exactly does that mean?
The shackles are some of the establishment people that are weak and ineffective people within the Republican Party, senators and others, and Paul Ryan, led to a certain extent by Paul Ryan.
They were holding
being
you
nasty
back?
to the nominee.
They were holding you
not
back?
Not a question holding back, no, but they're not giving support. They don't give the kind of support. You know, we got more votes, more than 14 million votes, more than anybody in the history of the Republican primaries, Bill, and they don't give the support that we really need.
All right, a reminder, we are hoping to have Donald Trump live here tomorrow for an extensive interview, and there is plenty more ahead as the Factor moves along this evening. New poll says voters are stressed out over the presidential race. Miller has some advice. Back to follow-up segment tonight, politically correct madness on college campuses. Monday's Halloween, and you had better be careful on some college campuses. For example, Tufts in Boston has issued these guidelines for those in fraternities and sororities. Students could face severe disciplinary action. I'm talking to you. If you offend peers with your costumes or make anyone feel threatened or unsafe, students must not appropriate cultures or display racial stereotypes. That's good. No leprechauns allowed on Tufts. Also, I am assuming no Mexican sombreros, no Native American buckskin, no French fries, and absolutely no antipasta. It is now here in New York City, Ebony Williams, and from Washington, Katie Pavlich. So, Katie, I'm with the Tufts faculty on this one. Let's not have any cultural stuff that's offensive, right?
Bill, no. This just proves that that campuses in our country now are becoming more like mini communist countries every Halloween that passes. The idea that these students are getting worked up over being offended about Halloween costumes, which, by the way, are make-believe, just shows that the future of the country is at stake. College is supposed to be a place where you learn and get an education even about things that offend you. And if they can't get past the Halloween costume, they're not only not going to make it there, they're not going to make it in the real world either, and they don't deserve to.
But I don't think that college students deserve to be terrorized, Ebony.
And they don't, Bill.
That's
and
right.
I know that you are being facetious here, and I know that you think this is crazy, oversensitive PC madness.
You
but
don't
I
believe
assure you
that
it's
I'm
not.
with the Tufts faculty? You don't believe I'm behind them?
I always believe you, Bill. But here's what I also know. You know what? I agree with Katie. It's okay to be offended. Of course it is. We're adults. You're supposed to be on campus to learn how to be an adult. But I do think there's something different, though, between being offensive and feeling harmed or targeted or threatened.
Harmed or targeted?
Yeah.
What costume on earth could do that?
For
the
instance,
clowns, the clowns.
The clowns are okay, Katie. I'm not afraid of the clowns. You afraid of the clowns? No, but like when people dress up like the ISIS attacks, the attackers
But
and
I
stuff
don't
like
know.
that.
I've never seen
I've
anybody
seen that.
do that.
Oh, well, I have, Bill.
You've
I've
seen
seen
an
it on
ISIS
Instagram.
guy?
Yeah, the all black, the
Really?
machete.
That's not what this is about.
And that stuff looks crazy.
No,
So I wish that people could police themselves,
Katie.
Bill, this is about the students at this university paying fees fees so that people can get a pension, so their tuition dollars can go towards funding the Incidents of Bias and Tolerance Discrimination and Hate Reporting Hotline. There's someone who is paid to watch that hotline. And by the way, it's not about reporting ISIS, folks. It's about reporting anything that anyone deems insensitive culturally.
That's right.
I agree, that's too broad. That's too broad. But, you know, the blackface, the nooses, and I've seen all of that on campuses, and that's not okay.
You know, I was going to go as Dracula, but I'm going to offend Romanians. I mean, they're going to be all right with me. We're not all vampires.
Too scary,
what are you going to be for Halloween, Ebony?
Well, I like to do various renditions of Janet Jackson from various
Janet,
eras.
What do you go? What are you going to be, Katie?
I don't know. I just know that I don't know.
Monday.
Now I'm confused on what I'm supposed to be. I was Katniss Everdeen last year. This year I think I might be Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games. I was her last year.
I can see that.
Which might be insensitive because
you can't have a bow and arrow,
which is very
Native
violent.
Americans.
So I might get
That's
reported
a character, Bill.
You can't have a bow and arrow.
All of it's fake.
It's only Native Americans can have it. You're appropriating their culture.
Katie, you can do it.
No, you can't. I don't want to see you dressed up like a Native American or living in a teepee. You can't.
None of it.
None of it. All right. And by the way, the Factor is the ultimate safe zone, everyone.
No, it's not.
Thank you very much. We come right back. Miller on voter stress. Thanks for staying with us. And Bill O'Reilly in the Miller Time segment tonight. Voter stress. Recent ABC News poll asked, is the election a serious source of stress in your life? 23% say yes, it is very stressful. 22% say there is some stress, but it's not serious. 53% opine the election is not a source of stress for them. And 1% have no opinion. They're stoned and have no stress, and they don't know. Joining us now from Chicago, Sage of Southern California, Dennis Miller. What are you doing in the Windy City, Miller?
I just came in to do a performance, Bill, and it's nice to be back in Chicago where a death certificate is considered voter ID. By the way, I think the Cubs have won more recently than the Republicans have here.
That's right. And it's been more than 100 years, so we're all following that. Now, it's called election stress disorder, Miller. People just want it to be over. And you say?
You know what makes me stressed out? The 1% who have no opinion. Wake up, you morons. Wake up. Get an opinion, all right? Billy, the last time, the Romney election, I was stressed out. This time, not so much. You know my feelings. It's gone now. By the way, it's an ABC poll, too. I don't know if you can trust that. They've got Hillary up by 12. An ABC poll with Hillary up by 12 is like a Pravda poll telling you Khrushchev has moved into the lead. So I wouldn't trust that too much. Well, but I'm not as stressed this time.
We did report that ABC queried more Democrats than Republicans.
Really?
Yes, on a fairly significant level. You know what? I'm not stressed about it other than I have to work way too hard. I mean, today was such a zoo. First we had Trump on, then we didn't have Trump on, then we had to get someone else on. Then you were in Chicago and you wanted to go on at 4 in the morning. I mean, that's why I'm stressed, Miller.
Well, listen, like I said, it's like the body snatchers. It happened. The country's not coming back around. Go to sleep, wake up, and join them because it's not. It's not coming back. So you don't think
if Trump wins, and he still has a shot, that he's going to make America great again? I know he has a shot, but
it's too far gone. It's too far gone.
You don't think he can make America great again?
No, you know, listen, I think he'll try, but I think there are people actively at work who don't, quite frank, are embarrassed when America's great. And I don't know that he has a chance here because they're coming down on him with all this stuff. Now, I think the women accusations, I can't quite decide if he's Clintonian or Kennedy-esque. And if he's Kennedy-esque, is he more Jack Kennedy-esque with women? Or, yeah, probably, because Teddy was really rough with women. Waiting 7 hours to report that woman in the car was a rough thing. But they're going to come down on him, and I was thinking, boy, you know, Trump has to find somebody, I guess, to handle all these, what do you want to call them, bimbo eruptions, like Bill Clinton hired somebody. Then I remembered it's Hillary, and he's running against Hillary, so I don't think she's going to help him with women like she helped her husband.
All right, good history lesson there, Miller. Now, in the segment before you, Tufts University warning the students there, they better not wear costumes that are offensive.
Well, listen, Bill, let's change the name on the charter then to Not So Tufts University. I got a job at Tufts. I'm a safe space lifeguard, Billy. I jump in and save the kids when they're drowning in their own BS.
Right. If they have a costume that may offend, you
and this is why stuff like that is why Hillary is probably going to win. Let's face facts. Trump's is a startling array of grotesque missteps, but his inner voice and his outer voice are the same, warts and all. Hillary is a narcissistic, malevolent ineptoid whose inner voice and outer voice have never even met. And that's why she's probably going to be the president of the United States.
Wow.
She best represents America right now. People who feel they're at the center of it all, but claim no responsibility whatsoever when it goes cosmically wrong.
All right. Dennis Miller, everybody from Chicago. We have a major announcement for the 2017 Miller O'Reilly Live Tour. Ready? Ready? We're adding Waters to the tour. Call us crazy, and we are. But the tour next year will now star Miller, O'Reilly, and Waters. OMG. You can see us in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Box Center Friday, January 13th. Reading, Pennsylvania at the Santander Arena, Saturday, January 14th. Omaha, Nebraska, CenturyLink Arena, Friday, March 24th. Tacoma, Washington, Tacoma Dome, Saturday, March 25th. And on my home field, the theater at Westbury, Long Island, Saturday, June 17th. These shows will likely sell out. Tickets make great Christmas gifts. That's why we're doing it now. They go on sale tomorrow morning. BillO'Reilly.com members, you can get them now. Dr. Tip of the Day in a moment. Are you a charitable person? But first, another reminder that we want you to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium member. And if you do sign up or re-up, you get Killing the Rising Sun or any of my other books free. Lease Wheels, new book, The Candidate, free of charge. And a copy of the Constitution gratis as well. Amazing deal. Now the mail. Tom Dadian, Santa Paula, California. O'Reilly, you are unbelievable. All evidence points to Obama knowing that Hillary was using private email. Why do you keep making excuses for him? No excuses were made. I simply pointed out accurately how business is done in the Oval Office. You, Tom, have convicted the president. I will not do that on circumstantial evidence. I give the facts of the story and clearly said it looks bad. Nicole Hudson, Denville, New Jersey. President Obama knew about Hillary's secret server. He communicated with her under a pseudonym. Take your investigation to the next level, O'Reilly. Certainly, Nicole, certainly. Since you have the proof, we look forward to you presenting it right here on The Factor tomorrow night. Please email us, and we'll send a car to get you. We'll bring you in. We have muffins in the green room. You lay out that evidence. We're ready to go. Jim Maxton, Tracy, California. Why would FBI Director Comey know about the Podesta Tandon email thread exposed by WikiLeaks? That would be outside the scope of the investigation. You're joshing me, right, Jim? The FBI's mandate was to find out if federal law was violated by Hillary Clinton using a private email system while conducting State Department business. That's what they had to find out. Podesta and Tandon were close to Hillary Clinton, getting emails all the time. We assume the Bureau interviewed them. And lying to a federal agent is a felony. Come on. Orianne McGann, Perth, Australia. Bill, do you buy into the proposition that because of demographic changes in the USA and the near total bias of the media, that a Republican can never win the presidency again? No, I do not buy that. The nation will respond to a strong leader with good ideas. Party will not matter with the rising number of independent voters here. Very important. Delano Francis, Anguilla, the Caribbean. Bill, you're right that more than 1 million votes it's 100 million votes, cannot be rigged, but 100,000 can. And that might be enough to tilt an election. Sure, it happened with Kennedy-Nixon, but evidence is needed. Evidence is needed to combat voter fraud, not just speculation, Delano. Joseph Martelloraro, New Windsor, New York. I have read every Killing book, and Rising Sun is the best. The brutality of the Japanese brought back memories of the savagery of Al-Qaeda when I was deployed in Iraq in 2007. Lots of parallels there, Joe, lots of them. Thanks for reading the book, and thank you for your service. Finally tonight, in fact, the tip of the day, don't want to go all Yoko Ono on you, but this world needs a lot more kindness. Enter 97-year-old World War II vet Jim Schlegel. His fondest wish was to see the Chicago Cubs make it back to the World Series because he witnessed that in 1945. Mr. Schwegel will get his wish sitting in the front row at Wrigley when the Cubs play the Indians in Game 3, all thanks to a very kind guy. The CEO of Camping World, Marcus Lemonis. Independent voters are backing him now. The Fox poll has it 41 for Trump, just 28 for Clinton. She's down 7 points with independents in 2 weeks, a very significant fall. Finally, the poll asked whether voters had a favorable opinion of the candidates. Trump clocked in 42% favorable, 56% unfavorable. Clinton 45% favorable, 53% unfavorable. Talking points will say it again. Whoever wins on November 8th will be the most unfavorable president-elect in history. 2 new state polls showed up today. In Florida, Bloomberg has Trump up by 2, a statistical tie. In New Hampshire, Hillary Clinton's lead has been cut by 5 points in the latest Monmouth poll. She now leads Trump by 4 points in the Live Free or Die state. But before all you Trump supporters get too happy, a new USA Today poll. 1, Trump 68. That's a big plus for the Republican. Blacks are supporting Clinton 82% to just 5 for Trump. But where are the other 13% of the black voters? A disaster, that is, if African Americans turn out big numbers, especially in states like Pennsylvania, which Trump needs. Whites going for Trump 50 to 36 for Clinton, which is a good sign for Trump in places like Iowa and Nevada. Women back Clinton over Trump, 48-38. But it's the opposite with men. They support Trump, 44-39 over Clinton. So you can see it's a polarized country. Fox poll is somewhat surprising because it shows a race much closer than some in the media believe. Also, Hillary Clinton has not been campaigning all that much, so this might be a wake-up call for her. Mitt Romney thought he had the race won 4 years ago, and look what happened to him. Trump's better showing is because more... Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Crazy day. We were supposed to have Donald Trump on the Factor, but logistics did not work out. He's running around all over the place. Trump campaign says he will be with us tomorrow. So instead of a live interview tonight, we have put together a highlight reel of my interviews with Trump, which I think you'll find illuminating, and then we'll talk with him tomorrow for an extended period of time. Also, today, there's a new Fox News poll out on the race, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. With just 13 days left until the nation votes for president, the FNC poll says this. Hillary Clinton leads Donald Trump 44-41, a tighter race than the last FNC poll, which had it 45-39. Johnson and Stein combined get 10%. What about the level of strong support? Clinton 60, also out today, as Clinton beating Trump by about 10 points in a 4-way race. We checked the methodology on that poll, and it's similar to the Fox poll. So there is some confusion afoot. The Gannett Company, which owns USA Today, is generally very anti-Trump, but Talking Points does not believe the poll is skewed to favor Hillary Clinton. What all this tells us is that Americans are not very happy with either candidate, and that comes through with the trust numbers. In the Fox survey, 67% of likely voters do not trust Hillary Clinton, 62% do not trust Donald Trump. The fact that Trump is still competing hard and within striking distance, if you believe the FNC poll, is kind of amazing. Man has been battered by the media, including some commentators right here on Fox News. Some of that is Trump's own fault, as his past behavior has hurt him, and his penchant for airing personal grievances has cost him votes. But Hillary Clinton simply cannot put him away, no matter what Trump does. And that's because the country's in trouble. And Secretary Clinton refuses to acknowledge that. Even though the polling on disenchantment is clear, 2/3 of Americans are not happy with the direction of America. In order to secure his support, Hillary Clinton has chosen to uphold the policies of President Obama. That is tough territory, with Obamacare tottering now and economic growth at 1%, anemic to say the least. Trump's also an amazing campaigner, pounding the pavement in the 4 states he needs: Florida, Ohio, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. The guy never sleeps. He just tweets. Talking Points believes that Hillary Clinton is leading in the race.